Oh, yeah. It was, yesterday, that was a surprise result, to say the least.
Yeah.
We've not been doing so well in the Premier League.
Right. So sorry, Andrew, you're speaking about Elrond.
Yeah,
Yes. Go ahead, Bogdan, please.
No. So Elrond is like the biggest project from Romania. I mean, for me personally, it was like an inspiration because they're like so good on marketing and the product. It's really good. So it's like very good in terms of quality.
Right.
Of the overall project. But there are also projects from Romania as well. But I would say that nothing as big as Elrond. So yeah, it's starting to grow. I mean, for sure, like this cycle is much more mature. And
Fascinating. But by the way, Suresh, are we live? I mean, oh yeah, I think we're live. Yeah, I think it was a. Maybe why don't we just quickly introduce ourselves, all of us. Hello to GB Hoy, who just is giving us a shout out. So maybe top left, we start with Coreto, and then we go to Stater, and then we go to IGG, and then Frontier. Maybe just give 2 minutes talking about ourselves, introducing ourselves to the community, and then we talk about GalaxyFarm, etc. That makes sense, guys?
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Sure.
So, Andrew, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Andrei. I am the head of development for Coreto. I will give you a very short description. So Coreto is a reputation-based social platform that bridges the interaction between projects, investors, pools, traders, and everything else around it, and all based on a comprehensive trust system. So Coreto utilizes both the blockchain technology and our unique trust and performance algorithms in order for the users to rely on when it comes to determining the performance and trustworthiness of content creators. That's a very short description of our project.
Got it.
Okay.
And are you live on mainnet, Andrew?
Sorry?
Are you live on mainnet?
Yes, we launched our core token last year.
Okay.
For now, we are only listed on Uniswap and Bilaxy. Bilaxy actually listed us without our intervention, so it was a surprise for us. And now we are moving also to Polygon, formerly Matic. So we're expanding, but yes, our token is live, and the platform alpha version will be launched in actually a week from now. So stay close.
Nice.
Excited to have you on board DeFi and GalaxyFarm.
Very excited to be here. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm really glad we were. It was kind of last minute, as you said earlier, for us. Yeah. But I'm really glad we made the list for this. It really connects well with our launching of the alpha. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Bogdan, you want to go next? Sorry for the brief visitor. I'm just going to let her be, otherwise it'll be
Sure.
More the merrier.
Thanks for having me, guys. My name is Bogdan. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Stater. And at Stater, we are building an open source peer-to-peer lending platform for NFT assets that will help users unlock and leverage the value of their NFTs without losing ownership. We are currently on Rinkebi with the product. Actually, we've been developing the product publicly since December. So we shifted from private development to Rinkebi at the end of December. And we are getting close for mainnet. So we'll be launching on mainnet in 11 days, so on the 16th of this month. So really excited for that.
Thank you, Bogdan. Excited to have you on board the DeFi and GalaxyFarm-2 and Router.
Thanks.
Josh, do you want to do next?
Hi everyone, it's Palash Jain here. I'm co-founder and CMO at Frontier. Frontier is a chain agnostic DeFi aggregation layer. Using our mobile-based products, user can track their DeFi portfolio, explore multiple native integrations, such as Compound, Aave, MakerDAO, Viant Finance, and also explore staking across multiple chains such as Kava, Cosmos. Band protocol, Matic network, and So in short, we are a mobile first chain agnostic DeFi aggregation layer, and we would be launching Frontier Chain, which is a decentralized key management blockchain based on Cosmos sentiment implementation. The testnet will be launched on April 14th. Yep.
Got it. Yeah, great team. I've heard a lot of great things about the project.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Nice.
Josh?
Yeah, so I'm Josh. So I'm co-founder of IG Galaxy. Me and Naim, who started the business. So what is IG Galaxy? Well, we had a dream to make a place where competitive gaming is fun and rewarding for everyone. And our community helped us build out that dream from our bedrooms to what you see now, which is currently in a beta phase. We're creating a gaming platform that allows all stakeholders within the esports space to exchange value with one another. So whether you're a gamer, a moderator, or even a service provider, you'll be rewarded for the value you bring. So a gamer like me, who's not very good and comes last, I'll still get rewarded for partaking in the tournaments. Or you could be somebody like Axel, one of our community members, who comes first in nearly every single tournament will get a lot more rewards. So what we want to try to create is a social, fun, inclusive platform, which our native token IG Galaxy IGG is the token and the fuel around that.
Got it. No, it's exciting to have IGG because you've been one of DeFi's earliest partners. I think when we launched the early beta of DeFi sometime in December, I think IGG community was really excited, and you guys came on board, and I think going through.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we first obviously moved over from Tron over to which was Matic, now Polygon, obviously you guys, DeFi was obviously one of the first exchanges that we listed on.
Right.
We love what you guys are doing, and obviously really, really privileged to be part of this now.
Thank you, Josh. Great. So let me quickly segue into just give the audience a quick summary of what DeFi is, what GalaxyFarm is, what Router is, and then why we so excited to have projects like you. The background was when we all started DeFi in earnest some time ago. In fact, we actually built the world's first stablecoin DEX way back in 2018 with 0x. Unfortunately, at the point in time, DeFi was still not a household name as it is now. And again, last year we started getting into DeFi, and we saw that Ethereum was so congested, and we just needed to have something other than Ethereum to sort of let people trade and swap and do all the fun things that DeFi has the potential to enable. And what we figured was, we built this bridge on Polygon on Matic. We built this AMA on Matic, and then we found that the experience was seamless, instant. I mean, if you've used DeFi after using Uniswap, it's the difference is stark. You can see that it's instant, gasless transactions. It's so smooth. You don't want to go back to a traditional AMM and spend a shit ton of fee trying to get a basic transaction. And so that's what we're excited about. And then when we started talking to Polygon, they were super excited about GalaxyFarm getting projects in, because it works for all the projects as well, because you now have the ability to sort of get communities onto the layer 2 platform. And even more exciting, what's even more exciting is through the router bridge that we're building, you can actually seamlessly transition between Matic and other chains as the router infrastructure gets built out, right? So in fact, router testnet was launched maybe 10 days ago. So what we're hoping is over the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'll have router and router sort of connecting multiple chains as well as defined nodes on a few different chains. And router actually is not limited to define, right? So router you can plug into any chain, BSC, Uniswap, Sushi, 1inch, Pancake. It doesn't matter. So we're super excited about having all these projects, all your communities having the ability to sort of exist on multiple chains. Once you're in the ecosystem, you're sort of naturally cross-chain. So super excited about that, and so happy to have my colleague Priyeshu as well. Priyeshu, any thoughts to add?
Yeah, I think you've covered most of it, and really excited to have all of you on board. So nothing to add. I think we are covered.
No, thank you. Yeah, I think
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, been really good. I think from what you are building, I think obviously the key for success within obviously the blockchain space is all about interoperability. Right. So with what you are building right now, I think it's awesome and provides real value for your key partners like ourselves and beyond. So really, really excited.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So one key thing I would like to add is, once our router protocol bridges go live, we will also help our projects become cross-chain. So I assume that even your products will have plans to go and thrive on different blockchains. And I can assure you that router protocol will be there to have you help with the cross-chain migrations and building bridges and opening the door of the wild infrastructure, which will be opening and connecting all the different blockchains.
It sounds awesome.
Sounds amazing. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah.
So I just noticed a question from user. Will we always run events like Galaxy Farm and Space Farm, or this is just to bring in users and liquidity initially? I think we will probably run a few events, and I think the tokens naturally had to be incentivized, at least initially, to bootstrap a community. And after that, we got to sort of design the architecture so that the validators and the liquidity providers all work together and have the incentive to sort of contribute liquidity. So I guess there will be a fair. I think these programs will run for a fair bit of time, but not endlessly. Clearly, right? So, hope that makes sense. Right? Because what are your thoughts on how these systems are designed, and a lot of these. There's a bit of a bubble happening clearly, right? And we have to incentivize through tokenization. But at some point, the architecture has to have a sort of tokenomics that's interesting enough on its own right, without it just being a yield play and a token play that's sort of held up by just the market, right?
Absolutely. Was that directed at me? Sorry, you broke up a little bit.
Just open up the discussion, and any of you can take it.
Yeah, I think we are still early in discovering all the possibilities we can access regarding blockchain in general. I think this is still just the start, at least in my vision. So the more we build, the better it will be, and the faster we'll get there.
No, I think a big key is ensuring that there's great user experience for the end users and making sure that we don't complicate anything and mitigating obviously the bridges. So like what you guys are building really is for acquiring our token, for example, RGG,
right.
And either selling it, for example, and taking it into, let's say, the end user's bank account. There's a lot of steps in that.
Right.
And what we want to do is obviously mitigate those kind of steps and obviously reduce the complications, just like you guys are doing, ensuring obviously that interoperability between the chains.
Yeah. That's John joining us from New York.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Sorry for being
Morning.
a little behind. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to around the world, wherever.
How are you doing?
Doing very well. Excited to see everyone in cohort 2.
Yeah. I think we have a few teams that couldn't make it, but this is the summit. Hey, Priyeshu, do you have the list of the complete cohort 2 participants? Do you want to just read them out for the sake of the audience and for the participants?
Yes, let me just press it.
Yeah, we will release the defined tokenomics fairly soon, guys. I know that's a common question. Just give us this week and we will reveal all. It is coming along nicely, and you'll be excited. David Martin had the question. So, and again, Vlad had the question. Yeah, we're still thinking about the airdrop bounding curve stuff. So just bear with us. Thank you for all the support. Love the excitement. Hopefully soon. Priyesh, over to you. Sorry.
Yeah, so the list of projects which will be participating in the Galaxy Farm cohort 2 is Router Protocol, Nord Finance, Frontier, Glitch Protocol, IG Galaxy, Stater Finance, Bandra DAO, Razor Network, Union Finance, and Rage.fan.
Lovely.
So the participants in the Galaxy Farm will be able to stake just one LP token, and they will be able to earn tokens of all the 10 projects at the same time. And the claiming will be gasless, and even the swapping will be gasless, because DeFi is a gasless exchange on Matic network. So users will have a nice experience farming 10 different coins and earning money without spending anything on gas fees.
That's awesome. It's in total. There's around $300,000 up for.
That's right. It's $300,000.
Each project is contributing $30,000 worth of rewards, and there will be 30 into 10, $300,000 worth of total rewards for the community to claim just by farming.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the good thing from a community perspective is, you are now, because it's a collaborative thing, this sort of touches upon the heart of the whole decentralized movement, right? So all of you are contributing. So each of you now gets into 10x more wallets from the Galaxy Farm, right? And there are 10x communities watching every single project, and it just leads to so many interesting outcomes in that manner.
Since John joined recently, John, can you please introduce the rest of us about you and your project?
Yeah, sure. It's a bit unfair because this is like, trial number 2 for me. I was part of cohort 1, so I feel I was joking with Router. I'm like, I'm the kid who got left behind. But glad to introduce Union Finance again. It's decentralized protection. And when I say decentralized protection, people instantly think about smart contract protection, which is a very key part of what we do, but not the only thing. Whenever you do DeFi, there are multiple layers to your transaction, right? There's the operational risk, which is really what the smart contract protection is about. And there's also financial risk and efficiency risk. Financial risk, such as if the assets move against you, how can you hedge that out? And then there's also kind of efficiency risk, which is if I'm playing around in DeFi, is my capital being efficiently utilized, or am I being penalized overly for being depositing into a lending platform? So Union addresses that full stack. We wrap it up into what we call bundled insurance. Our first product is called collateral optimization, and it addresses deficiency where instead of you posting your collateral on a lending platform and getting charged, or having to post 150% collateral, for example, to borrow against it, you can hedge it with COP and then get 100% borrow power from it. I think that's a game changer for DeFi. It's typical in traditional finance, which is my background. I'm very excited to bring that to the decentralized world.
Absolutely. Excited to have you. I think there was some issues last time around. Glad it got all sorted out and you're here.
Yeah. Last time what I mentioned was it's always a difficult step to kind of transition from the Ethereum world into the other layer 2s and whatnot. As you're bringing projects and making this transition happen, we're solving the issues that basically we didn't run into before. So.
Absolutely. And I guess it's just the beginning, right? I mean, cross-chain is going to be, it's such a natural evolution. In a few years, people are going to wonder why they just stuck to Ethereum. And I don't think any of us here believes that Ethereum is going to go away at any point in time, but I think it's just going to be coexisting along with, it's almost like operating systems. You have multiple communities. There's a lot of interesting NFT projects, for instance, that are aggregating around the Matic ecosystem. Right? So that could be one way the whole ecosystem grows out. But in 2 to 3 years, all the fees that you're spending currently on Ethereum is going to be like, wow, did we really do that? It's going to be that.
So true.
Yeah, for sure.
It's true for pretty much any, whether it's a community or it's technology, right? From a technology standpoint, you had back in the days, you have let's say C++ programs or something like. They have you had Java programs not talking to each other. You had banks with their own operating systems, which today still don't really talk to each other. There are certain banks that are in networks and they have to make multiple hops to get into another network. I mean, that's just the reality of technology. And then you have community where, we throw globalization around very easy, but hey, there's still lots of countries that are locked into their own little, their own little economies, right? And now they're just starting to join the global economy too. So DeFi is no different. And we're going to look back, just like you said, 5 years, and we're going to see the transition that DeFi did from being this siloed ecosystem into the more linked up type of trading or economic exchange.
Right.
Yeah, of course. And also about the cross-chain that we are building step by step right now. I think it will take over everything in the whole crypto ecosystem right now. As you said, for now, most projects are how do I say this? Constrained by the chain that they are launching on and so on. And building cross-chain ecosystems like this will open up everything and will not become a competition in do I use this blockchain or this blockchain? It will become a competition based on value that each project brings to the table. So, as we said in the beginning, it's only the start for this. We are still very, very early.
Right.
Now we'll be taking some community questions. Answering them. We already have some questions. So Vlad Lucia asks, do we need to pull out any LPs we now have on DeFi, or will they be automatically picked by the Galaxy Farm? So for the people who are currently farming on the Galaxy Farm, they will have to unstake their LPs on cohort 1 and they will have to stake the same assets on cohort 2. Cohort 1 will anyways be ending, so it makes sense for you to unstake your LP tokens, and you'll have to just go to the site and manually stake them to cohort 2 in order to earn rewards. They won't be automatically mapped from cohort 1 to cohort 2. Second question is from David Martin. How are the rewards from the Galaxy Farm funded? So the funding is very transparent, David. All projects are contributing a fixed $30,000 worth of amount, and there are 10 projects, and from there we are getting $300,000 worth of rewards for all participants. Okay, so these two questions we are taking. We'll be taking more.
Yeah. Josh, most handsome guy in the chat. Robbie, right here. You read that's a good one from Craig Sargent.
Sorry, what was that? You were breaking up a little on my side.
So somebody's pointing out, Josh, you're the most handsome guy in the chat. Robbie, right here when you read this.
Yeah, I should have been an actor back in my days, but sadly, I chose engineering as my background instead.
That was for Josh.
Not for you.
Oh, come on. Now I feel really sad.
Well, you can have it, John. Don't worry.
It's that beard. I think it's the beard. Yeah.
I have a trim today because if not, then it looks as though I've been on the street for the last 2 weeks.
I shaved mine off, so I'm at a disadvantage now.
Palash, do you want to
You've always knocked about 15 years off, yeah?
Hey, Palash, do you want to come on video?
Actually, I'm under quarantine, so it's a little difficult over here. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Got it. Are you suffering from corona?
Well, I have little viral fever, so that's why I'm not sure. So yeah. So doctor has said to be in quarantine, and then the reports come, so I'll get to know what it is exactly.
All right. Stay safe, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. What else do we have? While we wait for more questions, we want to sort of quickly get, especially folks like the Stater team to sort of chime in on, especially given your focus on NFTs, how do you think layer 2, etc. is critical to the growth of NFTs? Is that something that you see as an immediate need, or is it a nice to have?
I mean, NFTs, like at Frontier, like we have been doing like a lot of experiments around NFTs when it comes to so in our mobile application we have like integrated track, view, and manage NFTs. Like so, all user has to do is like the user can enter the Ethereum address and he can view all the NFTs like whether individual or collections. So and one main blocker when we say that we want to onboard like real artists to the NFT space. I mean, the thing is NFT minting. If you look, like the hottest marketplace are right now on Ethereum. You have Super Rare, you have Rarible, and now there are multiple other marketplaces coming on BSC, Solana, But the thing is, on Ethereum right now, everything is concentrated over there, and minting is really really expensive. So having a L2 minter, like having a NFT minter but on L2 would basically be like it would enable like a small artist creators to basically mint for probably like maybe less than a cent, and yeah, I mean like this would drive more influx from L1 to L2 and would enable like platforms like Rarible, Make a Place, Super 8 to launch their particular platform on L2s, like Polygon, XDAI, Optimism, and yeah, it would help a lot for the existing artists and also would encourage the new artists to come and launch their NFTs too.
Right. Awesome. Bogdan, what are your thoughts given the interesting thing you're doing around NFT lending and collateralization?
Yeah. So if we look at the space right now, we see that it's just getting started. So I mean, a few people know that NFTs were here for some time. So for some years, if I'm right, but like right now we see the actual adoption, we see the traction, we see people like getting into the space. Some say that NFTs can actually be an enabler for new people to get into blockchain. So they get first into NFTs, and after that they explore other projects. And regarding like the network, right now we see that things are very dispersed. So like all the networks try to play with NFTs and they try to implement them. Of course, like a big part of the actual market is concentrated on the Ethereum network. We'll have to see. Like from our side, we are quite agnostic. So I mean, we try to say that we are where the NFTs are. So we're just like we will just be very careful at the adoption and integrate as many networks as possible. But I cannot say like how will this look in 5 years because it's still a fresh space and it's very experimental. And we'll see. Like from my view, I think that the big enabler will be gaming, because we see like on gaming it's like a very huge market where basically every gamer loses money. So everyone, because they love the game, they love the ecosystem, but it's more on the pay-to-play model. So NFTs change that. So it shifts from the pay-to-play model to a play-to-earn model, which can create microeconomies inside the game. So it could open up for a new wave of innovation in this space.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. It's really interesting, and yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Spot on about that. Just looking at the number of projects that are actually focused on this cohort, you have you guys, Stata, you have Josh MyGG, and you have Rage.fan, which is another platform out of India that's focused on NFT around sports. There's a lot of activity around the NFT space and cross-chain and L2.
Yeah. Well, I think for us with NFTs, there's obviously two sides of it. There's one obviously in terms of minting, so if you're using the NFTs for the ability to, if you win a tournament, for example, and obviously you then get that trophy as an NFT, for example, would be one bit, or for example, whether it's in terms of ranking systems, if you become the best rank, again, you could potentially have the NFT minted. But then on the other side for us is also the ability to distribute the NFTs for prizes. Which obviously is a little bit different, but with what you're talking about before, with obviously the layer 2 solutions, it actually makes it more kind of sustainable for us. Before, if it was over on Ethereum, like where is the real kind of rationale for us to do that on a daily basis when you're paying such high fees? So with what the layer 2 solutions bring, it's a total game changer within the NFT. And obviously to build on with what Bogdan was talking about within terms of NFTs being the enabler, I totally agree. Obviously, there's everything from the crypto kitties back in the day, which was obviously a crazy thing where you've seen obviously some crazy prices. But then obviously now with the artwork to the tweet with Jack obviously doing the first ever tweet and that creating into an NFT and that being sold. And there's so much more eyes in the crypto space because of NFTs. The likes of Gary Vee again is talking about NFTs, the game changer within NFTs. So I really think it's been huge over the last couple of months and bringing a lot of kind of the non-traders as people who weren't really too bothered or was like, what is Bitcoin? To now being like so you can speak to somebody and be like, what's Bitcoin? And people will be like, I don't know what Bitcoin is. Like, I don't know what blockchain is. But you say, do you know what NFT is? And like, I know what an NFT is. Oh, Paul Logan, for example, creating his kind of NFT cards, and they know about the NFTs, but they don't know about what blockchain technology is, which is crazy. But it's also actually quite awesome because it's bridging the gap between kind of the everyday, as for us, for example, everyday gamers to obviously the crypto space. So I think I'm really excited. I really am.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, please.
I just wanted to add the best part of this NFT movement for me will be relating to gaming also. So I see real potential for innovation there. I'm really interested to see how it will be used from now on. I want to see how creative gamers, game creators will be using NFTs and where will it take them.
Absolutely. And I think we have to be, I think you're bang on, Andre. And it's ensuring that there's platforms or projects like you guys that are actually creating kind of meaningful value to the users. It's not just, oh, wow, it's the hype of NFTs. Let's say we're going to use NFTs, but there's not really any kind of meaningful substance to the end user. And hopefully, obviously, the users will kind of see through that. And obviously, the NFTs, like Andre said, will be massively utilized from obviously the game developers. So I'm really excited to see the developments on that.
Right.
It's always been about, from the gaming side, getting the publishers on board. As I date myself back to, Diablo 2, Diablo 1 even. But, there were skins, and then people were doing Warcraft farming back in the days. And it was always stuck within the game publishers because, of course, they don't want to let that money leave their ecosystem. And, I think as Bogdan said, the NFT and gaming idea has been around for well over a year and a half. And there was a huge excitement a year and a half ago when it was, this NFT is going to be the future. All the games are going to come on in. They're going to be like this crazy marketplace that exchanges. And it kind of just went nowhere on the surface. But in the background, it's really been about getting the publishers on board and getting people familiar with this NFT, which we're starting to see now. My perspective is the last few months you had huge artwork that, traded very high. So that got a lot of eyeballs on it. And in a way, that's been an enabler for all the other ideas that have been going on in NFT space, which then leads us back to what Andre was saying. Okay, so now we got all the demand. The gamers are coming on board. The people still want to exchange skins and NFTs they owned in one game with maybe a publisher from another game. That's where interoperability starts coming into play, I think. And speaking from the union standpoint, of course, you want to, just like traditional artwork and type of, you want to guarantee the authenticity of things. Even though the technology is authentic, people always like that extra safety feeling that it is guaranteed. So, all these projects, we're here talking. And I think in a few, we'll say maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's going to be a year. You never know how quickly or slowly this place kind of moves. But we're going to be operating as one thing. People are just going to come in, they're going to play the games, they're going to get their NFTs, they're going to be exchanged, they're going to be protected. Right? It's going to be completely seamless to the end consumer.
Yeah. And it's crazy, right? I mean, I'm just looking at the numbers here. I mean, I think GalaxyFarm-1, we reached a CVL of a couple of $1 million within an hour of launch.
Nice.
GalaxyFarm-2 is going to be at least 2x that, because I just noticed GB Hoy actually mentioned in the comments that Define liquidity just shot past 1 million for the last 24 hours, right? I mean, we don't have a token, we're not really advertising, it's not out there. I mean, router is the main product, and that's when you test it. I can imagine how, as you say, John, in the next 5 to 6 months, how this will just take off, and I think
stake some skins or something. I don't know, some games, stake your artwork.
Yeah. Actually, one more question, right? I mean, are the founding teams actually adding liquidity? Yeah, absolutely, right. So each of the 10 teams, each of the founders here are contributing a fair bit of liquidity to DeFi. It ranges from $500,000 to $50K to $100,000 to begin with, and then the idea is that community comes and adds liquidity that's much more. Hope that answers your question, David. And then how artistry as a question. Could you please explain Matic? How does Matic help the ecosystem? This is interesting because you're looking at I guess all of us know about Matic. It's been an amazing protocol. It started in 2018. I've seen how Sandeep and Jayanti started raising this initial concept, and a lot of the Western. One thing that we've noticed building out of places like non-traditional places. If you build in the Valley, or if you build in Europe or Germany, for instance, or if you build in Singapore, you already get a valuation multiple. You start off at a higher pedestal. So it's really amazing what Sandeep and the team at Matic have built. There's so much community, there's so much traction. I think Avalanche had an initial, there's a lot of good things about Avalanche, and Matic is, I guess, in the same league as some of these projects globally. I think the valuation is 4 billion plus, and each day you hear about 20, 30 projects onboarding, and there are a lot of interesting things about NFT. And I guess once you use Define and when you use Uniswap, you see how cool it is to go on to Matic. Obviously, once you have the router bridge, you're going to figure out how seamless it's to transfer liquidity as well. But yeah, Matic has been a key enabler for the whole L2 thing. Right. Josh, you have a question. Let me try and find it. Could you perhaps talk about the functionality of orbs and when you expect to implement those in the Galaxy? You want to touch on that?
Yeah, so orbs is going to be kind of on the secondary token within IG Galaxy. So we're going to be focusing a lot of that within IG Labs. So obviously we'll be looking to implement further forms with further tokens. And on the other side, will that be in terms of kind of hyper casual games, again, which you have to utilize orbs to do so. So a lot of the orbs and IG pairing will be used for kind of further staking over the next year.
Good. Yeah. Any more questions? I guess that's it. I guess we probably answered. Yeah, how the tokenomics for defined token roughly when will be issued? I know this is a very common question, guys. It's going to be announced sometime in the next couple of weeks, I would say, maybe sooner than that. Just working through some of the mechanics of how we reward early supporters. There's an NFT angle as well, similar to SOC. So stay tuned. There's going to be retrospective airdrops like Uni did. So a lot of interesting things, and all the early partners, liquidity providers, everybody will be super happy. So just stay tuned. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. Priyashu, anything that we should ask the esteemed panel here, get their thoughts on while we are on air?
I think we can. I think we have covered most of the things. So we should. Float a question. Is there anything any of you founders would like to share with the DeFi community? Just a free stage for all.
Question for router team. DeFi's obviously very, very well. Since the introduction of Galaxy Farm, did you see a spike in the type of liquidity that was taking place on DeFi?
Yes, we saw a great spike on the DeFi liquidity. Before the launch of Galaxy Farm, we had a couple of 100,000s in liquidity, and within 1 hour of launch of the Galaxy Farm 1, we had over 2.5 million liquidity in just 1 hour.
Yeah. And we think that's going to sustain. I feel kind of weird asking this, but it's the idea. We think that volume is going to sustain for each of the projects here as people move on to layer 2. And it's no longer going to cost them $80 to do a swap, for example. $80 is the cheap side.
No, absolutely. It will sustain. And it will sustain for a few different reasons, right? I mean, one is obviously the projects want to come on layer 2 and just reduce the cost. No, you can actually swap around the pool for fun. It's that crazy. You have let's say a UNN pool and then you have an IgG pool, and then you see that your yield is higher on IgG. Folks can just withdraw from one pool and go to the other pool. It's seamless. You can't imagine that in Ethereum or Uniswap because that's a huge part of the calculation. How much do I lose if I withdraw early? And so it's crazy how the response has been. And it's going to get crazier because you can imagine DeFi nodes on multiple chains, and you have the router bridge seamlessly connecting. So imagine you have a UNN pool on DeFi on Matic, and then you have a UNN pool on Huobi or BSC, right? And then there's interesting possibilities there around yield arbitrage and swap arbitrage. So many different things coming down the pipe.
That's great.
So why the switch from USDT to ETH pairings? Curious. I mean, we have a fair bit of USDC liquidity and one demand, especially from projects in the Matic ecosystem, Ethereum liquidity, which is why we just focused on Ethereum this time around. We will, we might probably come back to some of that stable in the next iteration or so. I guess it's a part of the feedback that we receive.
And I think you wanted to share something.
I lost my idea in the meantime. Anyway, I think it was already answered from your previous explanation. So,
Right. I think Bogdan, Ahmed has a question for you. When will the mainnet was data come?
The Lydian update. So the mainnet update will be next Friday on the 16th.
Yeah. 16, that's
yeah,
2 weeks away. Yeah, 10 days away. Nice.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah.
I think David has a question. How many projects does DeFi expect to add over the course of time? What type of projects do you look for? I think we want to project with we want to partner with any project that wants to move to L2 and use the power of cross-chain connectivity to sort of just build the community. So pretty open here. We don't really we do look for projects that have some visibility or some traction, not just a basic white paper. But other than that, we're pretty open in terms of what type of projects we want to partner with, right? And to follow up on the question on when any stablecoin pairings will be introduced to DeFi, we already have from Galaxy Farm 1 a fair bit of liquidity on the stablecoin side. There were 5 farms in Galaxy Farm 1, which were all USDC pairing. And then we continue to, we have plans to continue to add to those over a period of time. In addition to the Galaxy Farm projects that you're seeing, we also have individual projects just coming and listing on DeFi. Just to, even without the Galaxy Farm, it's a pretty compelling proposition.
One more interesting thing I would like to share is we are also planning a cohort 3 in which we are going long on the projects which have a tiny market cap. So we are particularly looking for projects which have a market cap of between 100K and 1 million. So this way our participants will get a chance to earn and be stakeholders in the tokens which have a lot of potential to move things. So we would, of course, be offering our previous participants to roll over into cohort 3 as well. But we are going to keep an innovative zone which will have projects with very small and tiny market caps and then let them also thrive in our farming ecosystem.
Nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
So for anyone who's obviously watching the call, for cohort 3 then, what are you expecting in terms of participants? Are you going to be another 10 or are you going to expand further?
More. We want to go with at least 20 to 30 participants in cohort 3. We are going to keep the reward limits low for them because they are going to be very small, tiny projects. Yeah,
Nice.
but that we want to, give exposure to the small guys and bring them at par, support the ecosystem. So it's our way of doing a sort of payback.
Nice. That sounds good.
Very nice.
Well, once we finish cohort 3, then we could do all the projects that have obviously partook in the cohorts. We could do an esports tournament for 32, and obviously each of our projects get obviously our community to represent, depending on what obviously game title it is, and then we could have it so on our platform. Obviously, we distribute all our tokens in one. Could be a nice way to do it. Whether that's obviously 32 projects, if you say there's going to be over 20 to 30, or we could do 16 if you guys were up for it. That is. I won't be playing because if I play, I'll end up getting beat. But we could, depending on, we could play something like whether that's Clash of Clans or anything like PUBG, Call of Duty Mobile, anything that you guys could think of, we could do.
Definitely, would love to play some games.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah, but what kind of games are we talking about?
So we support 11 games at the minute. So we've got PUBG, Call of Duty Mobile, Warzone, FIFA, PES, Clash of Clans. We've got I think a few others which are more like the mainstream ones, but would probably be ones that are accessible for us all. Will be something like PUBG Mobile and Call of Duty Mobile. They're probably the ones that we go to, or Rocket League or Fortnite. 2 again are free to play, so we can get our communities to create a team, whether that's 5 players in each team, and then obviously we take on each other over a couple of games.
Nice.
Sounds
pretty cool.
Yeah. What, any of those games that I've said? Does any of them you guys play or?
I play PUBG.
I get motion sickness from PUBG. I'm too old, but I do love the battle royale idea. It's like all the mini projects start putting together their prizes, and the beauty of this is also goes back to Bogdan's way of just like it's so economical to issue or I don't know, move these coins on a layer 2. It's, these micro caps, whatever. You might have like fractions of a token. It doesn't make sense to transfer that token to another wallet on the layer 1 ETH, but Ethereum. But on layer 2, when it's fractions of a cent, it makes sense, and you start pulling together all these projects.
Absolutely, and that's one thing with what we've got with the distribution system. So if we had 64 players, we can obviously reward everyone down to last place. Whereas it wouldn't be sustainable to do so if you're on something like just on the Ethereum chain. But even comparing that to the likes of the legacy system that you were talking about before, with all the banks, when we first did our first ever tournament, where before we built our platform, there's a guy over in Turkey who won it, and obviously the prize I think was something like £30, but it cost us £35 in fees. Just to transfer it, so it was just so backwards, and that was the first, second, and third. You know what I mean? So there's no way in earth you'd be able to use even the legacy systems or even Ethereum at the minute to obviously reward people who come last. So I think, like you said, it makes sense, and obviously layer 2 solutions allow for kind of easy distribution and very
It's the same with issuing protection. I mean, this is just, it applies to everything, right? Like if I'm buying protection, even if we're being very efficient, let's say it costs me $60 and I've got $100 sitting in any one of your projects, whether it's some NFT or whether I'm doing some cross-chain bridge insurance, I'm just like, do I really want to pay 100%, almost 100% of what my exposure is? Oh, of course not. But if I'm able to get that protection and the gas itself is only $1 or something, then all of a sudden, the friction of buying or getting involved in that protection goes away.
Yeah,
I'm quite excited about the layer 2 integration we've got going on.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing which intrigues me is, John, for you, how far are we to have a life insurance on the blockchain?
We're actually in talks.
I suppose you need a proof of death.
Just like in the real world, right? You need to have real world validators who actually go and say, yes, this person has passed away. As much as you can. This life insurance is an interesting topic.
Yeah,
So we're going to be a little morbid, right? But hey, you do need someone. There can be a death certificate. Someone posts a death certificate, and great, you're paid out. I mean, that in a way that happens today through, not every insurance company goes to someone's funeral to validate that they've actually passed away to pay them out. But, there will be similar checks that blockchain can do. It's less about, are we revolutionizing, insurance with, a digital way to track that type of claim? That's definitely a benefit. But it's more about, in my perspective, getting everyone involved in the insurance of benefits, right? So right now, the benefits of writing insurance, all that claim goes to an insurance company. Here in the DeFi world, we're offering anyone who's in a decentralized, anyone in blockchain to participate and earn from whatever type of insurance. In this case, it's life insurance that we're talking about. That, I think, is the game changer, right? It's no longer centralized to certain companies. It's now going to be for everyone to participate.
Right. And perhaps private detectives and law firms can become the validators of that network.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, whether it's law firms who are validators or agents who are validators, you're going to see this happen as the real world and the digital world kind of blends together. You still need boots on the ground to go and see some things actually occur. Like there are projects that we've talked to who are interested in ensuring, let's say, the authenticity of diamonds, gold bars, or anything like this, right? It's one thing to say, yes, we do know that this gold bar comes from a certain factory or whatever you want to call a certain mine. We can track it. But it's another thing where an agent goes on site. Sometimes they have to, what we call, touch it, right? They have to be like, this is just part of the real world type of constraints. Yes, as an agent, I've periodically gone and touched and validated that this gold is really there and it really is true gold, for example, right? And so they bond their rights just as today as an insurance, you have to put some type of risk and say, yes, I validate it's true. And if it's not true, then I have to pay a certain amount. So that's how I see the real world insurance starting to blend with this blockchain insurance, right? So we got all the digital auto triggering in case something happens, in case, an event occurs, we automatically pays out. And then you got the real person who's serving as that biological oracle, right? to link the two together.
Yeah. So we have this question for Ahmed Karsat Ergan. What kind of project is Stater? I'm so curious. Can you, Stater Finance, can you please elaborate on your project once more?
Yeah. So at Stater, we are building an open source peer-to-peer lending platform that will help users unlock and leverage the value of their NFTs without losing ownership. So basically, we're building a lending platform for NFTs. So as an NFT owner, you can come in our platform and take a loan that will be basically a small percentage of the actual value that the asset has. In the first stage, it will be peer-to-peer, so it will act like a marketplace. So as a borrower, you will set the terms of the loan and you will list the asset on the marketplace, and other lenders will come and provide you with a loan. But in further updates, we'll try to automate as much as possible from this process, because the downside with the marketplace system is the spread. So it's quite hard to match borrowers and lenders with the same objectives. And of course, like the future, it's pool lending, so we know that. But the question is, how do you do that with NFTs? Because like most of the NFTs have intrinsic value attached to them. And in our view, it's quite hard to like fully automate the process. So we view it as like having micro pools in the platform that will compete with each other. They will do some kind of manual due diligence, but on a bigger scale, like everyone will act like a big lending pool. And another important aspect about the project is the defaulting practice. So as a borrower, if you don't pay the loan, the lender will have to will have the option to claim the asset in his custody.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated by the idea of bringing liquidity to NFTs, because that can really help people. More people get interested into the art, buying them and selling them, because they know that they can exit easily. And
Yeah.
this is a large problem even in traditional art, because they are hardly liquid and it's very hard to get a good price. So it's a great concept. So we have one question for Coreto. I think this will be our last question for the day. Will Coreto have a section dedicated only to projects or content creators also?
Yeah. So at Coreto, we are not only aiming for one section of the total blockchain community. We'll be addressing every type of user, or let's say entity, that interacts with blockchain and everything around it. So take our alpha, for example. For now, we will be launching closed alpha version. We have around 500 members that will be allowed to use the platform at first, and then we'll open up more and more users. And the first feature of the platform is called staking of opinion pools, and it targets traders especially. What this means is, I guess everyone has interacted with Twitter signals, Telegram signals, people sharing their predictions, but you can never really trust them until it really happens. You don't have a track record for that. And what we're trying to do is create the tools necessary for people, for traders, to share their knowledge and have their predictions available to the larger audience. And also for the users that come and look at those predictions, to have a traceable performance and a trust meter for every analyst, so to say. So this is only the beginning. We'll be then branching out to content creators, reviewers, project teams, and project in general, and every other part of the bigger crypto community, and providing the tools necessary for everyone to have ways to express themselves and to validate information. So the bigger plan is to have a generalized trust layer that we can apply over everything that comes and goes in the crypto communities.
Excellent.
So,
Love
yeah.
the idea. Love the idea. I think it can be a decentralized Messari, decentralized Delphi Digital, decentralized D-Block, everything decentralized together in a one platform, if you manage to pull this off nicely. So
you could say that, yes.
Yes. So everyone, thank you all, especially the founders and the community, for coming live today with us and answering the questions, attending the session. It was a great session, and I want to thank you all again. And that's all.
Awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Guys.
Can I add one little thing? Just I've seen the community's asked about our TCM, which is the tournament creation module, and I know they'll have on my head if I don't answer it, because I've seen it come up a few times now. But the testing's going really well, guys. It's used every day now internally. Obviously, we're going to be rolling out that shortly, so it'll be a marketing tool for other crypto projects to engage with the gaming community. And it's not just going to be ERC20 tokens that'll be used for the distribution. That's it. Just had to do that, because if not, I'll have lots of messages on the Telegram where...
No problem. We totally understand.
He's shielding himself from any return.
I'll use your protection, John.
That's absolutely. It's all about event risk.
No, awesome. Really, really appreciate your time. And obviously had an amazing time. So thank you very much, guys.
Okay.
Also,
bye-bye, guys.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you all in Galaxy Farm.
See you soon.
Okay. Bye. Bye, guys.